I'm Dwight Gow and you're watching Newcastle Fan TV.
Hello Newcastle Fan TV, we are back. Yesterday we've done the goalkeepers. Today we are going to be looking at the left backs that are at the club, just the first teamers. And we're going to ask the question for you guys at home, why are we continuously linked to the people such as Kieran Gibbs? Well, what does a modern Premier League fullback do? Let's get out of the way. Now, as you can see, I've got how Newcastle would normally set up in this 4-2-3-1 formation, if you want to call it. That's the number 10. Now, obviously, I've got the left back missing. So, let's begin with our left back. So, if we look at the list, we're going to start with Paul Dummett, who, to be honest, should be here. So, we're going to be talking on the first one of Paul Dummett. Okie dokie. Now, we're going to be up in the Premier League. Now, looking at this formation, because we have the likes of last season, this was Matt Ritchie in this position, this was Diarmé Perez, and this was Atsu or Gouffran. So they were tucked in, which allowed the fullbacks to bomb on. Yedlin in particular, I think, were already made. So it'll be interesting when we do the right backs tomorrow. So Yedlin already can do that as well. On the other hand, did we see Paul Dummett do much of this last season? The answer is no, we didn't really see it. And why? Because he wasn't tested. It's as simple as that. Paul Dummett wasn't tested at all. I'm just going to get me wiper. So Paul Dummett didn't get forward as much last season. But the question is, can he get forward? That's the question that I'm going to throw out. Use comment in your box before. Is Paul Dummett, can he play this formation? Or will Rafa accept that Paul Dummett is not really an attacking left back and he'll be in this position? Which would ask yourself the question, if Rafa sticks to this formation, who's going to cover this left flank? Are we asking, maybe, let's just say Atsu, because this is Atsu. Is Atsu then going to be asked to come backwards? Is the likes of Shelby asked to cover? It's a bit of a tricky problem because Newcastle, the fullbacks on the left flank, I don't feel was strong, in particular any three of these going forward. Without a shadow of a doubt, Paul Dummett has massively improved last season. The critics will say he's probably found his level, which should be fair. That's fair enough. A lot of you say that Paul Dummett is a centre-back really playing left-back. My only problem that I've got with Paul Dummett is, for me, what I don't like about him, and you'll probably see a lot of this, I obviously sit in the Gallagher's, I see a lot of Paul Dummett right behind him, is when he gets the ball in any of this kind of area, anyway, as soon as the ball comes to Paul Dummett, he does two things. What he either does is he comes back to his left foot, or if he doesn't do that, well, sides foots it, or he clips a long pass into whoever. Now, for me, that's poor. I don't think that's very good going forward. Defensively, without a shadow of a doubt, Paul Dummett is by far clear outstanding defender out of the other two that are in that category. Outstanding Premier League player? Probably not. Okie dokie. Let's move on. Right, okay, so moving on to Ashraf Lazar. A lot of rumours going around saying he's one of the going to be the casualties for the summer. Right, out of these three, I'll probably say Lazar is the best one going forward. But why doesn't Rafa play him? Because if you look at how this lines up, Lazar just fits in nicely. Yedlin here, Lazar here. Why doesn't he play Lazar? Now, going this way, this is where I feel Rafa doesn't trust him defensively. Because why? Well, no, I'll rephrase that. How come Paul Dummett played the most minutes out of any single player that we had in the summer? Well, in the season, sorry, not the summer. So defensively, I think there's a massive question mark about Ashraf Lazar. And then you might say, well, if he's that bad defensively, why don't you play Ashraf Lazar further forward in this position? You know, the likes of where Gouffran and Atsu played. But from what I've seen of Lazar when he come off the bench, I think his touch isn't the greatest. So yes, he's flexible. He can play left back and he can play in this attacking left midfield role, assuming Rafa goes with this for the start of this for the season. But for me, quality. I think when he has the ball, his crossing's okay. It's not the greatest. It should be a lot better. But the thing is with Lazar and what he's got on his side, for me, is he can do this. He gives you that option. but the final third quality isn't the greatest. I think Paul Dummett, funny enough, has a better delivery, despite Paul Dummett can't get up the pitch. Lazar's the opposite. He can get up the pitch, but his delivery's not great. Defensively, I would always pick Paul Dummett over Lazar, home and away, without a shadow of a doubt. If I needed a goal, substitution to come on, pull Dummett off, get Lazar on, with a shout of a doubt. Question marks around Lazar. Let's get over to Haidara. Is Masaido Haidara, what the hell has happened to him? When he joined, and he's been at the club, you know, like, what's it, 2011 it was, something like that. And obviously we know he's been out injured with the horror tackle with McManaman and so on. He's had his injury problems, but you know, he's been around the first team in the under-23 since, what, late November, and hasn't really kicked on. We even seen him play when Rafa went with the wing-back system against Birmingham City as the left centre-back. And we know he come on in the final game of the season, and he's only played like 3 or 4 games all season. And I like Haidara, I do. I think he's more better on the ball than the other two. When he has the ball, I think he's a lot more neater. He's a lot more tidier than the other two. My question marks again around Haidara is going this way. I do think he's better than Lazar going backwards, though. Without a shadow of a doubt, I don't think Lazar's a full left back for me. So I think defensively, I think he's better than Lazar. Going forward, I tell you what he does do, what the others don't, is he's a bit of an athlete. He can go both ways, and he's probably the more safer option than Lazar than say Paul Dummett getting forward. It's a difficult one with Haidara. I mean, I think his future is coming towards the end. Right, some people might say unfairly, but you know, he's injury prone. It hasn't helped him in this formation. I think you need a modern day left back to get up and down. Haidara can do that, but again, with the same as Lazar, quality in that final third. You can probably say Paul Dummett as well, but Paul Dummett wins this race for me for next season, assuming we don't sign a left back. Paul Dummett will continue to be our left back next season. However, we've had the likes of Kieran Gibbs being linked because he's your modern day fullback who can get up and down that left flank, cause a problem, and maybe deliver 1 or 2 extra crosses than what all these other 3 can't do, you know. So that, let me know what you think of the left back situation and how we'll line up there. And obviously, because we're wingers tuck in, we're just going to quickly touch upon a couple of other news as well. The Premier League, I have to mention this is fantastic. The Premier League followed Newcastle today officially on Twitter, and guess who they unfollowed? Sunderland and Middlesbrough. You cannot script it. That is genuinely honest. They have unfollowed Sunderland and Middlesbrough, then they went to follow Newcastle. Absolutely fantastic. Newcastle officially now are a Premier League side, so you'll start seeing this. From now on in for the videos, we are now Premier League official. You'll see it on the Premier League website. We're on the league table. We're in the clubs as well. So we're back where we belong, you know. Just touching on, obviously, England will be playing Scotland. I'll be covering that game as well. If you want to put a bet on, we've got some extra betting specials for our sports companies who are in partnership, which is Bet Online and Sports Betting. Obviously, they've got some cracking offers, which you've seen on your screen already. Head over there, because if you're going to put a bet on, why don't you make an extra bit of cash as well? And you're helping us out as well. So have a look at that as well. And of course, we'll be moving on. Probably tomorrow, we'll be probably doing the England review, and then we'll get over on the late weekend, probably Sunday night. We'll have a look at the right backs as well. I nearly forgot. Congratulations to Freddie Woodman and Adam Armstrong on reaching the World Cup final. Yes, England are in the World Cup final. They'll play Venezuela for the under-20s World Cup. Freddie Woodman started. We're in the World Cup final, which is fantastic. Thank you very much for watching Newcastle Fans TV, and we'll see you later.